say it in the passage. Jesus said, I am here. You may be seated and say that back to me. I am here. If you study, Reverend Carpenter, now Deacon, if you study Holy Writ in this same 6th chapter, it's just like life is today. People want to call the Lord out when something happens. But why don't you want to be with him while you got a roof over your head, money in a bank account, a job to go to, clothes to wear, children to train, teach, and all of that?
Come on, Doctor.
But just think about that first verse early on in the text that will bring us to this 16th verse. There are 500 men, not including the women and the children. Jesus soon saw a huge crowd of people coming to look for him.
That's right.
Turned to Philip, he asked, where can we buy bread to feed all these people? If you really get to know the Lord, you will find out that there is nothing impossible with God. You got to believe that for yourself. He was testing Philip, for he already knew what he was going to do. See, before you do anything, you ought to check with God. It may be too hard for you, but it's not too hard for God. I wish I could get one person praying with me. So Philip replied, if we worked for months, we wouldn't have enough money to feed these 5,000. Didn't count women and children, just the 5,000 men. And then Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. There's a young boy here with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what good is that with this huge crowd? Do you see how folk give up on God? Even before the scenario began, they've given up on God. I came to tell you today, whatever you're going through this morning, tomorrow, the rest of your life, don't give up on God. Now, all it looks impossible for you, I know it does, because for you, it is impossible. But all things are possible if you believe in him. All the Lord said, well, tell every one of them to sit down. That's the order he's giving us today. We may not recognize it. Go sit down somewhere. Let God be God. And let you be man and woman, because whatever you're going through, I'm not a preaching witness, I'm a living witness. God has done for me everything I've ever asked him to do. And guess what? Before you ask God for something, he already knows what you need. He already, do I have any help in here? He already knows what you want. He already knows what you have. But are you willing to trust God? Text again goes back to saying, Jesus said to them, I am here. These same folk didn't even know he was there. They couldn't have known. The book said, and they all ate as much as they wanted. Man, I can't fix that thing. I wish I could. He's feeding 5,000. With 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. Somebody help me here. You ever had a burden on you that tough? You just got 2, 3 children that you have to feed.
Go ahead,
But he's about to feed thousands 250. $5. Let me ask you, do you ever back yourself up in your corner and couldn't see your way out? And you have to call on God for him to get you out. And then when he gets you out, do you have enough sense to tell him thank you, sir? Oh, it's a simple little sermon. It's simple, son. But do you have enough common sense just to trust God to get you out? Amen. Just one illustration. I'm going back to the particular text, but I was riding the highway coming home from college. Young, crazy. I was in my freshman year. And I dropped a young lady off in Covington. She didn't want to be bothered, so I was mad. I dropped her off. So I'm driving down the highway, a 2-lane highway. And you know, I don't know, but you all ought to sometimes think about where God has brought you from. So you will know where he can take you to. So I'm driving, and a white state trooper pulled me over, and my bell, I had gone to sleep on the 2-lane highway. And the trooper, when he pulled me over, I said, oh Lord, what have I done now? I couldn't see my way out. Well, no way out. I thought, I didn't even know I was going to sleep at the wheel. But you see, God can take care of it. And you ought to sometimes go back to them things that he has already brought you through. To know that he can bring you out. Not only can he bring you through, but he can bring you. Talk to me somebody if you can. Has he ever brought anybody in here out that I'm preaching to and brought you out? I just wanted to make you think about some things he's done for you before you got wrong. Amen. Preach about it. Trooper pulled me over, asked me how the car. Where you driving? He said, you know, you've been driving about 30 minutes, going across back and forth the lane. I said, no, sir. I said, I didn't know. He said, well, I just want to let you know, you need to cut your heat down. It was winter time. And I didn't have enough sense to cut that heat down. Amen. And when it went down, that heat was putting me off to sleep. Talk to me. But y'all don't understand where Reverend is going with this. This has been, for me, 18, this has been 50-some years ago. Do y'all ever go back, take that retrospective view of where he brought you from? Come on, talk to me. I didn't know what I was doing, but the God I serve, he had an angel. He got one over you right now. The book said we are encamped with angels all around. So I don't know what you're going through this morning, but you better know God's angel is with you. Now gather the leftovers so that nothing is wasted. That's why God is about way of our parents and stuff and how they teach us through the word. And I can remember the old folk used to say, if you waste, you won't. You remember that 19 I hear you over there. I said, old folk try to teach us if you waste, you won't. Miss Jenna is dead now, but she used to teach all of us around this church, young people, keep a quarter in your pocket. Members think that they maybe I've helped them, but members don't know. You all have said a whole lot of things that have helped me. This ain't no one-way street. This is a two-way. Amen. I'm trying to reach you, and you're trying to reach me. Yes, sir. We have to communicate with each other to be a church. That's right. Amen. So isn't that amazing? We don't understand it, but we trust and believe that everything the record said, it did happen. Amen. People saw him do this miraculous sign. They exclaimed, surely, here's the prophet we have been expecting. When Jesus saw that they were ready to force him to be there, as king, the book said he slipped away. I love the Lord for that when I read his Bible. Everything he do for her, he slips away, y'all.
Amen.
Amen.
You think you ain't going to be able to make your house new, he'll fix it when you pay.
Yes, right.
Don't say that, just sit there.
Amen.
He slipped away by himself.
Yes, he did.
Sometimes you have to stay by yourself.
Amen. Amen.
All of us in here, we think we got some friends, some associates. No, you know some folk.
Amen.
But times ain't got tough enough.
Amen.
You don't know who your friend, who your enemy, and all that until times really get tough enough.
Amen. Preach about it.
When they really get tough,
Yes, sir. Amen.
it'll make you wonder. This morning, early in the bed on this sermon, before I really deal with the text, I woke up early and I was asking the Lord, why you waking me up this morning so early?
Amen.
He said, you got a sermon to preach. Tell them I am here.
Yes, sir.
And I'm in the bed and I'm wallowing. What is this you're saying? He says, don't let sophistication destroy or sabotage your salvation. Given to you on Calvary
Amen. Amen.
by Jesus Christ. And I've been wrestling with that all the morning. Don't let sophistication destroy or sabotage your salvation.
Amen.
Don't get excited over yourself.
Amen.
Amen.
Don't you think you're doing so much?
Right. Amen.
You better come back down here.
Amen.
Keep your feet on the ground. Satan will make you think you got it going on.
Amen.
Amen.
And you'll become so sophisticated.
Amen.
Amen.
Get 2 or 3 degrees. Hang them on the wall.
Amen.
God bless you with something else.
Amen.
And you become so sophisticated you forget to speak to people.
Amen.
Preach about it.
You forget where God has brought you from.
Amen. Amen.
Wherever I go, I'm listening for things.
Amen.
Young man named Elliot Perry was speaking the other night for Sarah, and he got up, and the first thing he told us how they lived together and grew up in the apartment.
Amen.
You don't know, Sarah, that touched me more than anything was see. He was proud enough of what God had done for him to tell the world, I came from the product. Tupelo, I believe that's what it was. Sitting right there next to Sarah, but I heard her say, she didn't know it, I'm listening. She just told him, tell it! Don't let God bless you and you get so sophisticated. Come so important that folk can't touch you. Same God that'll let you go up is the same God will watch you bring yourself back down. Have I got a witness here? I'm through in a minute. When I began with this little text, as I led us into where we are, the book said that Jesus said, as the story goes on, you'll hear him say to these disciples, and this is what they said to him. That evening, Jesus and the disciples went down to the shore to wait for him.
Amen.
But as darkness fell and Jesus still hadn't come back. See, you can't hurry God.
Amen.
Too many folk think you can hurry God. No, you got to wait on the Lord. Everything you need, everything you don't need, God got it for you. If I could come back to a preacher's church and preach every Sunday, he said, and lo, I am with you. I ain't never told you nobody in the pew was with you. Never.
Amen.
Never told you.
Preach about it. Amen.
So all I told you is, lo, I'm with you. People don't really get it. Folk don't really get it. I have to live a lonely life.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
I try to help folk.
Amen.
remember when I started as a young preacher, some young folk got in the car, and I had some of that boogie music, rhythm and blues and all of that. And one of them spoke up and said, "Well, listen to that kind of music." I got them back to the church and got them out of my car and he put them in this. I'm a human being. I got sin. I got flaws. But it's a lonely life out here. We try to pick people up and want to bring them. And do you all know the folk that you try to bring close to you? That's the one that kill you. Y'all hear what I say? The one that you try to bring to you. I have that witness in the back there. Anybody you try to pull close to you. Let me bring it to you real quick on the national stage. Trump must start it out together. Don't look like it's lasting 3 good months. Trump said, "I'm going to give away this Tesla he gave me. I'm going to give him a key to the nation." But it's over now. I know you gave me $250 million, but it's over now. And we as people in the nation, we don't know whether it's over or not. We just seen through TV the conversation. We don't know what's going on. Jesus stayed away for a while.
Yes, he did.
When his darkness failed, Jesus still hadn't come back.
Yes, sir.
They got into the boat.
Amen.
Headed across the lake toward Capernaum.
Yes, sir. Amen.
See how when folk want the Lord, they want him to come right now.
Right now. Yes, sir. Amen.
Let me fix it for you for the church. They stay out the church, and as soon as somehow they're ready to call Reverend Sanders. They've been calling Reverend Sanders for 40 years. Reverend Sanders. Never have got my name Sandridge right. Reverend Sanders. Can we have a funeral of him? Reverend Sanders, you know my boy in trouble. Anything you can do to him. Y'all don't know I've heard so much.
Man.
When it comes to church life. You do know most folk go to church out of tradition.
That's right. Amen.
They don't come out of need. See, when you discover you need the Lord, you can't stay in the bed or something.
Amen.
I don't know what it is about Sunday morning. When you start looking at what he's done for you and where he brought you from, you get up out that bed so quick, going in that bathroom, get that bath, and get your clothes. See, when you really love the Lord, you develop a relationship. He said, when you become my friend, Look at it. He got into the boat and headed across the Capernaum. Soon this gale of wind swept up upon them. The sea grew rough.
Yes.
Guess what they did? They rowed about 3 to 4 miles. When suddenly they saw Jesus walking on the water.
Amen.
Charge the book. Now let me help you on that. When you have been with the Lord, he doesn't show up when you want him to. When you're going through troubles and trials and all that other foolishness, he doesn't show up.
That's right.
He shows up when he gets ready. And I want to let all you in here to know, whatever you're going through today, the Lord don't show up when you want him to.
That's true.
So they struggled out them 3 to 4 miles going to Capernaum. But when he got ready, that's what I know about the Lord.
Amen.
As many times I've asked him, Lord, do this for me. And Lord, do this. Lord. I know sometimes he says, Sandra, I get so tired of you. But you don't have anyone else to call.
Amen.
But he knows that. He knows that. How many folk know for yourself that the Lord knows you?
Amen.
He knows what you need before you ask him. Close this thing. I just wanted to give you a thought. They rode 3 to 4 miles when they saw Jesus on the water.
Yes, sir.
Coming toward the boat. And guess what they did? They got scared as hell.
Yeah, they did.
They said they was terrified.
Terrified.
But I thought you wanted it to show up. You've been waiting on it. You've been saying he's yours. You've been saying he's my everything. Saying he'll fix it for me. You can say everything. And then when he show up, you go to ask for the food. That ain't him.
Talking off the wall.
Then they were eager
Yeah.
to let him in the boat. But I just came to tell you today, he said to them, don't be afraid. That's what you take home today. Don't be afraid. I am here.
Amen.
Just to talk a second and I'm gone. If you lost your job, I'm here. When my little great grandbaby went to the hospital for open heart surgery, y'all help me, that's deep. 2 years old. Still had to listen to what he said. He said, I am here. I just came to tell you, Thomas Chapel, whatever you're going through today, you better know he is here. The only way I made it is because he has told me 1,000 times, I am here. When I woke up early this morning thinking about that thought, he said, Sandridge, I'm here. That's right. When that lightning was flashing the other night, that storm, and them thunderstorm, and it was telling, I said, Lord, you should have tied up. He just said back to me, I'm here. I will never leave you. Y'all ought to digest this today, just a little teaching. I will never leave. Come on here, somebody. Never leave you. Never forsake you. Been going back to a poor for 48 years, and I have to call on it all the time, brother, when it gets heavy on me sometimes.
Yes, sir.
And I feel like, I'm just going to throw in the towel. How many of y'all have had that moment where you want to just throw in the towel?
Yes, sir. Amen.
They were eager to let him on the boat.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately they arrived at their destination. Not a lot of hard preaching, just trying to teach you to think about what you need to think about today.
Amen.
Can I bring it even a little closer?
Bring it close, man.
He said tomorrow is not promised.
That's right.
It's heavy. So you mean to tell me, Lord, that today you're telling me that tomorrow ain't promised? I got some things I need to do tomorrow. Y'all don't know, I just lost one of my wife and I, we just lost one of our best friends. My best friend that helped me when I got in school board. He didn't come. The telephone rang. The daughter was on the other line, his wife. We've been fellowshipping together and stuff since he died. And can I tell y'all what I know happened to her? Wasn't nothing wrong, she wasn't sick, but she died of a broken heart. She loved her husband. Mary even said, baby, why don't you just walk the mall? You might meet somebody. But sometimes you can die with a broken heart. Ain't nobody evaluate my love for my wife. I don't know my level of love from my wife. I don't know it. I have my mind set for her. I think she'll be with me till the very end, but I don't know that. But there's one thing I do know about this Bible. I'm at 12 o'clock. I am here. You don't curse your wife out. You don't argue and all that. No. You just say to yourself, she's here. She might tell you I'm going to leave. But you don't pay that no attention because she ain't done yet. She's still there. That's just a little arm of spat you have, That's that bomb they'll drop on you. I'm going to take me for granted. I will leave. Y'all act like what I'm saying is crazy, but that's why you're laughing, because you know it's the truth. But if they love you, they'll stay. That's why when you date the man, you ain't got to keep wanting to care about me. You don't never tell me he loves me. out the door, then you know what's going on.
Amen.
You may not be through, but he's through. Come on. Come on, talk back to me. Give God a hand clap of praise. You know I ain't lying. When a person is through.
Through. Man.
It's something that may seem to be so trivial to you, but it's not trivial to them.
Man.
No. Y'all know I like to watch some of them soap operas.
Go ahead, Pastor.
My wife kind of got me hooked since I'm retired. And I watched the Bowling Beauty. There was a couple on there named Hard and Hope. Hardin and Fanny engaged to Hope, and they saying, is he gonna last? I'm just falling out. Because I know it ain't